But every time you thought that we did alright, what we used to be, yeah. But I just feel like dancing. Are you feeling the groove? Oh, baby, won't you love me? Won't you love me? Won't you love me? Love me like yesterday. Don't you feel it? How it feels, baby. Won't you love me? Oh, but kinda new way. Oh, but kinda new. Tell me you're feeling it too, babe. And love me like yesterday. Oh, but kinda new. Tell me you're feeling it too. And love me like yesterday. Love me like yesterday. Yesterday.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Taekwondo Live. My name, like always, is Petra Verbruggen, as you can see right down below. And welcome to all of the producers, being professional or just for a hobby or whatever. All sizes are here. Welcome. Really appreciate you for taking your time on your Saturday evening, morning, or afternoon. Really appreciate you for taking time and coming here to be part of the community. And the community is both on Facebook and on YouTube. Most of the time, I have to admit, it's on YouTube, and that's also where the most comments are coming from at the moment. If you want to support the show, by the way, commenting is a really good way to do it. There are also the possibility for a super chat if you want to do that. So there are multiple ways of helping out the show. But indeed, the most common one and also the nicest one is just comments, like for example MT, who's really enjoying the sun, it seems, because he's in a very good mood today. I also see Raul. He's also saying hi to everybody, and that's exactly what I like about this community, is that everybody is talking to each other and really having a blast. Eric, for example, is also talking about hello MT to and that's also really cool. Again, a lot of music, of course, playing music during the countdown. And Niels is also in the house. Welcome, Niels. And did I have everybody? I don't think so. I think that there are more. Yes, there are definitely more. I also see here DG Ware. Greetings, Taekwondo, MT Storing, Raul, Eric, and Niels. Really appreciate you for taking the time and effort to be here, DJ Ware. Let me see if Gerard is also in the house. Welcome. And all the way from the other side of the world, well, the flip side of the world, it's cold in Johannesburg. Well, it's not cold here, Stanley, but it's good to see you nevertheless. Really appreciate you for taking the time. Indeed, like Abdi says, it's 22 degrees Celsius. Actually, it was 26 degrees in the car, so maybe the real life is 24 or something like that. And indeed, next week it's really gonna kick off this summer, which is absolutely fantastic. Phil is in the house. Welcome. And I think I have everybody right now. Really appreciate it. So what's the deal of today? Well, actually, it's the Q&A session. So basically, it's all up to you what we're going to talk about. Now, of course, I do have some things that I want to talk about. But if you have anything that you want to discuss, then that would be great if you would just answer your questions in the chat so that we can talk about it at a later stage. That can be about vMix, it can be about ATEM, it can be about the central control that we discussed last week. It could also be about the ADCam trolley that we discussed in a video this month. Or last month, I mean. So you have a lot of different options to talk about. One small thing is that I do have a hard stop, which is in about 45 minutes from now. But that is going to be, anyway, I think still a very good show nevertheless. We have the first question of the day. From Studio AK. Hi, on Blackmagic Design HyperDeck Studio 4K Pro, can we choose the output? If so, will it be clean out? So in a HyperDeck, you are able to have an output going. Let me just go into the chat in the to Blackmagic Design's website, because I do not own that particular unit. But let's check it out together. And let's make sure that we have the good one, the HyperDeck Studio 4K Pro. All right. So let's go ahead and share my screen. Okay, maybe I can do this one. Perfect. All right. So this is the Blackmagic Design website. We're talking about HyperDecks, the Studio 4K Pro. This is the model that we're talking about right here. And let's go into the tech specs. That's always where I check the features. And if I go down to the back of the unit, well, there are a few things that I can already talk about just by looking at the back. So there we go. So there's an HDMI output, and there are also SDI outputs. The SDI outputs, they can definitely be without any markers or whatsoever. The HDMI output is, I believe that is a monitor output. Let me check that. Video outputs. If I can find it in because I know that my HDMI output that I have on the Plus, let me check. I have the HD Plus, and if I go to the back of that one, I think it states monitor, HDMI out. So that means that you can assign that format to it. Doesn't have to be a monitor out, because it actually has a specific monitor out right here. So yes, you can have a clean output. It seems, at least on the Plus. And if I look at the one that you are referring to, the 4K Pro, let me again check that. Does this one also have? Yeah. So it also has an SDI monitor out right here on the left hand side of the unit. So indeed, I can affirmatively say that the HDMI out can be indeed without any it can be clean feed. It can be without the text that you might be referring to, the monitoring text from the HyperDeck itself. Now, that being said, if you're pushing out an SDI connection or HDMI connection to that unit that contains, for example, lower thirds and that kind of stuff from your ATEM, well, then that's not possible, because it can only show you what, of course, you're sending to it. So that, I'm not sure if that is what you're referring to, but this is definitely one that can be done the way that you should set this with a clean feed. Live Journey Production says HDMI is always clean SDI, can be turned on and off in the firmware. Definitely. I agree with that statement. In the menu. Yeah, it's definitely in the menu. I think it's the same in my unit as well. In the meantime, Go Web Technologies, greetings from India. Namaste. Absolutely fantastic for you to be here. That's the big unit indeed, Eric. I am also a little bit jealous if they're looking into that, but that's the way it goes. Okay, so that was the first question of the day, and let that go, let that come. Let's try to do that together. I did actually have also something that I wanted to talk to you about today as well. And oh yeah, wait, I have to properly end that question. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And also thank you also to Life Journey and also other people that were chiming in to say that that was indeed possible. All right, so maybe it's cool for you to know what I was a little bit late today to the show, and the reason was that this was my view, so to speak, about 2 hours ago. So we actually had a dialect event near where I live, about a half an hour drive. And as you can see, this is a fully local oriented setup with the ATEM Mini Extreme. Sorry, that's wrong. The ATEM SDI Extreme. On the left hand side, the Hollyland intercom system above. In the center, we have Casper CG for our playout system, and on the right hand side, you see a audio interface that we were using just a couple of hours ago. And because of that, of course, I was literally here roughly half an hour before the show. So it was a little bit of a thing. I actually also promised you last time to give you a little bit of a sneak peek if it came to my time in the US. And this is not related to video, and that's also the reason why I will make sure that it's short and sweet, because I don't want to make it too big for that. So I'm looking into my pictures, and as you can see, I had a very good flight towards the US. I actually had only one person in a row. That was me, which was really a luxurious situation. And indeed, I flew like a proper Dutch person with KLM. And the first thing that we saw when we arrived in the US, we actually went from Amsterdam to Los Angeles. And in Los Angeles, we took a car, and we had some time left. So we wanted to spend some time, and actually we went to Venice Beach. So this is really something that we came from a cold Netherlands, and we came directly to this place on Earth where it's really nice, shining, 26 degrees Celsius, very, very nice, very warm, and it was absolutely fantastic. What I also liked is, and I don't know if you know about that series, but there was a Baywatch series, and well, this is definitely reminiscent of that TV series that we had back in the, I believe, the late 90s, if I'm not mistaken. So that was really cool. I'm speeding up a little bit. We actually also went to Santa Monica Pier. That was in the same go. So we actually walked from Venice Beach to Santa Monica Pier, which is this pier right here. Extremely beautiful, extremely interesting. Loved everything about it. We ate at a taco bar, which was extremely nice. What I didn't know back then was that actually Route 66 stopped at that particular pier, which was really interesting because Route 66, I have been driving on that for a bit throughout the years, from Chicago all the way now to Santa Monica. So I can tell you that it's I actually saw quite a lot. Moving on very quickly, I don't want to make you watch too much stuff because there's a lot of beer and that kind of stuff involved, and I just don't want to bother you with that. So I'll drop off other picture right here. This is sorry that it's a bit skewed, but this is San Diego. That's where we actually were during the 3 weeks. So actually, it was for work. This was not pleasure, though. Of course, you can imagine that this day was definitely pleasure. Look at that beautiful city with some skyscrapers, with the San Diego Convention Center, where you got the the Comic Con. I think on a yearly basis, right there. So that's really cool indeed. Moving on quickly, we of course, being Dutch, we did watch the game because we are. For Verstappen, which is who's a Dutch rider from Formula One, and so we watched it at a bar, and yes, we drank some beer. Moving on a bit further, we went to an overpass. So this is extremely beautiful to see. This is San Diego from a distance. Oh, this is not going well. Ah, there he goes. So here you got another side of it. Another side of it. Look at that. That's where the beaches are. And this is actually where we took the picture. There was a memorial set up, and was quite impressive, to say the least. Oh, yes, we drank, and we went to a barbecue place called Smoking Jay's, which was really, really good. Moving on quite quickly. Again, I don't want to take too much time away from it. I think that I want to move on, not from San Diego to something else. So let's go to another place. Yes. So, So we were actually also located in Connecticut for the second week, and this was a view not far from where we were. Really nice waters with a lot of boats, and we actually were going out at that night, and there were a lot of Dutchies, which was not by intention, but it was nevertheless great to see them. And now I want to talk about the thing that we really also like to see. Of course, we went to New York City. We went to Grand Central, which was really awesome. Never been there in my life, and of course, I did see it on a lot of pictures and videos and series, etc. But this was the first time in real life, and it was extremely a beautiful place. Proof I was there, of course. American flag, really cute. Let me go quickly. Of course, we went to New York City. Just some pictures here, some random pictures. This is, of course, the Empire State Building, which you will see in just a bit. We were, of course, on Times Square as well. So we did the standard setup, as you can see. And now I'm moving on again a little bit. Let me see where I can. So a lot of New York pictures, which I don't want to bother you with. Oh yeah. So then I had 4 days for myself, and so I picked up my own private rental, which was this car right here, a Tesla Model 3 white edition with a very. It was extremely cool to drive in that car. What I really liked was the central console. The navigation was stellar, and really later in the process, I actually came to notice that it actually had quite some automated features, so it could actually also drive itself quite a lot. Of course, I'm not going to show that because you don't want to show that. Then I went to. Oh yeah, by the way, I've never said it to you guys, but I am actually collecting these. So I always like to collect Starbucks mugs of places where I have actually been myself. So in this case, it was New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut, which was really cool. And then I actually went to Letchworth State Park, which is in upstate New York, and of course there's a dam right there. But what I really like about that location is they have this really cool cafe restaurant, which is right there in the park, which you can really eat very nicely. And later on, we actually went and took some really beautiful pictures. There's a lot of waterfalls, as you can see right there as well. It's like really beautiful there in upstate New York, where we were, or actually where I was together with some friends. And again, I want to make it as quickly as possible. So this is a nice picture that I've made, where you can see the waterfall and this really nice, walking path. And again, a picture of myself at the beautiful upper falls of the Letchworth State Park, which is extremely cool to be. And let me see if I have one more picture, and then I think that I have successfully provided you an insight in something that I really liked. I actually went also to a church. So this is a church where I actually helped out with the video production. That was not the intent, but the person that was also taking care of me by providing me a bed and some places to stay. We actually also helped out with the video production right there, which was really cool to do in the US. And I think that... Oh, yeah. And if you are like me and you like music and you are occasionally going to upstate New York, then please go ahead and go to this location. This is House of Guitars. And like they say, they have a plethora of guitars. They're in Rochester, New York, or Irondequoit, I think, even. And it's beautiful to be at. A lot of memorabilia. Of course, a lot of microphones. That Shure one in the center of this picture, I really, really like. I'm collecting those microphones. Also, here you see a lot of amplifiers, another memorabilia, and if you need a CD or a piece of vinyl, then chances are that they have it. It's really, that is the way it goes. So that was very, very quickly and looking over. Yeah, that's it. That's all I think that I have time for. So this was a very quick overview of my time in the US. 3 weeks were passed very, very fast, and was really cool to do that. But this is, of course, not related to, well, actually the church was a little bit related to the video, but this was it. Stanley says, thank you for sharing the trip with us. Yeah, of course. Eric says, Irondequoit is correct. The House of Guitars, the Hawk, indeed. I know. It's beautiful. I actually stayed not in that city, but very close to that city, very near to the Ontario Lake. So it was really cool. Indeed, the Genesee River is flowing through Letchworth State Park. So, and indeed, I didn't go this time around in downtown Rochester, but that would also be a very nice, place to be. He says, on Starbucks mugs, my colleagues also collect them. Yeah, they're really cool. So I have, I do collect them, but like I said, I have to be there physically. So I'm not interested in just having a mug for the collection. It's something that is really meant for me to, oh yeah, I've been there. It's, it's part of the thing. Neil says, there was some footage from ASML San Diego on Linus Tech Tips recently. Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that. That's interesting. I'll have to check. But I actually am not going to show that picture in real life, but I can show it a little bit with a um, because I also had the privilege to be at the where is it? Let me see if I can find that picture. There it is. I was also in the clean room at San Diego, which was really cool to do, and it was a lot of stories that that I've learned and heard that I cannot, of course, show to you or talk about online, but definitely I was impressed what they did there in San Diego, but also in Wilton in Connecticut. Um, those people are doing a fantastic job for us as a company, but also for you guys to build machines that actually produce cool computer chips. So it's really impressive. And he says was really a nice trip around aside from work. Thanks for sharing these awesome places. Yeah, it was extremely cool indeed. Let me see if there were any other questions. Eric says Connecticut, nice. Yeah, that was actually Eric. Yeah, you are from upstate New York. So what happened was I went from San Diego to New York City. And New York City has a lot of people, a lot of driving, a lot of rush hour is quite killing, I have to tell you. But once it settled down and we were in Connecticut, all of a sudden I felt like I was in upstate New York with a lot of green and the houses, and it just basically looked like I was in upstate New York, which felt like home to me. So I was really happy with that. Eric, Eric says Verstappen. Yes, yeah, he's doing a great job. Yeah. Martin, last week I did a panel discussion on 3 guests, and the host was using one Canon CRN300 PTZ with normal camcorders with presets. Let me go here. With a preset via Companion, I could immediately cut to anyone who was speaking. That is really cool. How did you do that? Was that because of all the different presets, or was that because of having an audio related to a preset? Because that would be really cool to have. That's really cool. And Martin says, I thought I needed more than one PTZ, but after this gig, I felt just the one was enough. Any thoughts? Depends on what you want to do with it. So if it's really a online setup, then it might be enough. But for, let's say, TV, I do want to have occasionally different shots. And I don't like the pan movement like this of a PTZ camera. So either it's like very smooth from one end to another one, but not like this. Well, because that's typically what I see with my PTZ cameras, is that, and there's actually a question that I actually asked myself to Burdock in my case, but it's not a Burdock only thing. PTZ Optics has the same issue, is that it's really like tuk, tuk, tuk. And it's not like you can really ease in and ease out from one preset to the other. And that's a bit of a shame, because that would be very interesting. Joe the Max says, drink a can of Desperados on my desk while I wait for Ollie to come by. Nice. Really cool. Well, and good evening from Nottingham. Really cool of you to join in, Joe. Really appreciate it. Talking about drinks, I had a pickleback in Connecticut. It's actually a drink that was, I believe, invented in New York City, But who knows what a pickleback is? Then let me know that, because that was quite an interesting experience, I can tell you. Not something that I would urge you to. Well, I would urge you to do it once, just to figure it out what it is. It's not really bad or something, but it's awkward, maybe. Anyway, so that was the promise that I made last week, that I would quickly show a rundown of the last 3 weeks, and it was really cool. And of course, I do think that I will be back there in a couple of months, because there were some really cool things that they have a request for to help them out, and we believe that we can help them. So that would be good. Let me see if a lot of people are joining, which is great. Joe is going to go to a club gig later, just at home, reverse engineering this Aurora Mixer ATEM. Sweet ATM, sweet. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing from that. Martin says preset recall. Okay, yeah. Eric says, I've seen the Canon CRN 300 on David Joshua Ford's channel, and the motor movement that Peter recalls are so smooth. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Mine doesn't do that. That's right. Love the latest central control. You're developing a really good app. Yes, absolutely, and I fully 100% agree with that statement. Which brings me to the second topic of today, which is what can you expect the coming period, right? Because we're roughly at the halfway point of the year. Am I drying out of content? No. I'm not drying out of content, don't worry. But there will be some, so I will go a little bit and talk a little bit about the things that we will be discussing the coming period, of course. Like I said last week, I will use coming week, so next week, to start to build a central control project for Taekwondo. I will do that from scratch. Secretly, I am already trying things out just for the sake of it. But indeed, I will do as much as I can live, so that you are inspired to do something yourself. And of course, you can pick and choose what you like to do. So central control will definitely be something that I will be working on more often. That doesn't mean that Companion is totally gone. I think that there's still a place for Companion, but that's more than for the connections or the functions that are not yet available. For example, in Central Control, and they are available in Companion. Then I will try to intermix them, and of course I will bug Joe a little bit to ask him if he can try to get it organized. But yeah, of course he is working as really hard to get Central Control as awesome as it is already, and I'd rather have a good product that is focused on a few areas than having everything but not fully adequate. And I think that that's a good thing. MT says, I prefer at least 3 cameras, even with presets, 1 for a total and 2 for different angles. Yes, I agree with that statement as well. I also use at least 3 cameras for most of what I do, sometimes 4, but I can tell you if I use 4, then the 4th will be almost solely used for a total. Maybe zooming in and zooming out, but it will not pan and tilt. That I won't do. It's just a matter of having a little bit of a different taste of it, but it will not be shocking, because that camera will always be the one that I can always go to in case of something of an emergency. Yeah, indeed. Um, yes, he is on vacation, or well, vacation. He's stopping for just for a few weeks or a few months. But he will come back, of course. But I can imagine that. MT says central control is for sure a piece I would to have a closer look on. Indeed. Um, yeah. And this is again about the PTZ camera that you guys are talking about. All right. So we talked a little bit about the central control. So we will be having at least one video on central control, but honestly, I don't think that it's going to be only one. I think that we will have like a recurring setup to improve on earlier setups, so that you all can learn from it. I think it's always cool to learn from somebody else's setup, so that's why we will be doing that. What we will also be doing is that I will have again a tour of the studio. I don't think that we have a lot of differences these days, but I think it's good to also for the sake of myself have like a tour of the studio to explain why things are the way that they are, and also the ideas that I have, because actually I'm still thinking about moving this desk to that wall right there, even though it's not going to be as nice as it's now. I think I will have more space in this room, and that's a bit of a bummer. So I will also walk you through what I want to do, why I want to do it. But ultimately I want you also to help me out to say, hey, this is a good idea, or this is not a good idea. I also want to, of course, talk a little bit about the ATEM Constellation HD that I have as my top tier on location set. We are actually going to use it the 2nd of July for a big event where we will have at the very least 6-7 cameras, and also at the very least 4 different key and fills. So you can imagine that it's going to be quite a big system right there. So that is going to go, we're going to talk about that. And what we're also going to talk about is all of the components that are in that kit, because it's not only the Constellation, it's also we talked about it earlier in this video, where we're talking about the Hyper Deck. It actually contains 2 Hyper Decks. It also contains the Ultra Studio, and it also contains the Web Presenter. So it's quite a nice packed system. We will also talk about audio the coming few months. We're talking about the Behringer X32 rack, which I have. And also I want to, again, talk a little bit about the microphones, the wireless microphones that I purchased earlier this year. And, really show you how cool it is and how you can pick and choose everything, because I didn't really demo it until now, and I really think that it's worth demoing it, because these days I have 3 of those units, so that would be great, and soon it might be even 4. So and then I'm done for my kit. I also, of course, have the network switch that we already talked about in the video, but that's the glue that brings the whole system together. That is for huge setups, huge events where I really need to have full control, and maybe even perform IMAC functionality, like projecting what's happening on the stage, on screens, or any other content. If that is not required, but you still want to have the possibility to work with SDI, then of course you have, for example, what I call my medium setup, and that is with the new ATEM SDI Extreme ISO, with very special thanks to EchoTapper whoever that might be. That is something that I received. I am going to use that together with the huge setup as a ISO recording unit, though for smaller setups, but where the we still have to run long distances. This system will be a more mobile unit, and I'm actually considering to build it into a Pelican case with a screen in there as well, so that it's a full setup that you just have to bring along, and boom, it's done. That's something that I'm looking into if I want to do that. And then of course we still have the ATEM minis for really small setups. So that is something that I am actually looking forward to also talk about with you moving forward. Also, now that I have central control, I can finally start to use the String Deck Plus with those nice rotary rings. Where is it? Where it is? Right there. And that strip. So I'm looking forward to working on that as well. And of course, I will be talking about that together with you. So as you can see, we have a lot to talk about. We talked about the studio tour. We talked about central control. I didn't talk about vMix, but of course, if there are any new topics around vMix, like for example vMix Replay, which you still need to have a very good show about, we're gonna do that as well. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about tele lights and intercoms, so that's also something that you can look forward to. And the list goes on and on and on. To be very blunt, I always try to prepare as much as I can, and I had 3 weeks to really work on it, which meant that I actually have a full list for the almost a full year, with the exception of 4 or 5 weeks. So, well, I think that we have plenty to talk about. What we also need to talk about is July. July will be a shorter month for Taekwondo, because I will be taking a break in July. Also from the perspective of, taking time for myself, enjoying the sun, and not sitting inside for so long. So I will be taking a break of at least 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. But that's the most. So between 2 or 3 weeks, and I will be talking about that the coming weeks, what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, and how we're going to do it. If time permits, I will also make some videos, of course. So that's it. And a very special thank you to Keith. Great to be on your stream. Well, great to be that you are here. And also thank you so much for that $5 super chat. The $5 will go into a special funding that will fund whatever I do with the show. So it will go directly to the show and nothing else. Thank you so much. And he says there's a long list. I was for sure a long flight to have to follow that. Yeah, the flight towards San Diego was 11 hours. Which is quite long. The flight back was actually quite well. It was 6.5 hours. Went past without, very quickly. Eric says, nice work for those future show plans. Great stuff in the queue. Yes, absolutely. On TV channels, are you still intended to do a vMix replay tutorial? Yes, that's indeed what I was intending to do. Absolutely, 100%. I am still debating on how I'm going to do that. I'm going to tell you why. It's not that I don't know how to do it myself, but it's just that the connection of that computer and then using another, I need to have, at the very minimum, more computers to do this, because otherwise you will get all kinds of choppy video, and I don't want to do that. We tried it before, it didn't work out. What is really cool is that Maggie from XKeys actually sent me the correct buttons on that replay unit. So now it's perfect. Thank you, Maggie, by the way. Simon says, "Is it the 2ME AC that you're using?" Yes, that's exactly the one that I'm using for large events. I'm not using it now, but I am considering to switch it on here occasionally for some tutorials or to for some questions. Though for me in this studio, it's extremely overkill. But for on location work, like for example, the 2nd of July, we need that system. We need to have at least 12 inputs, otherwise we cannot do it. So, and we are also having not only 12 inputs, we also have 2 remote contributors coming in via a live view, and we are also going to push out SRT signals from one local TV station all the way in the south of the Netherlands to our local TV station, and maybe it's also going to go it's going to be big. A lot of work for preparations there. Yeah, it's quite a lot. 11 hours. So that's also one of the things that I wanted to tell to you, and actually that brings me to I only have like a few minutes left, guys. Sorry for that. So I'm almost at the end of the show. Eric says 2ME is going to be required for 7 cams plus 4 key and fills. Absolutely, lots of I/O and access. Yes. And it's going to be more than you think, because we also have to have clean feeds, and we have to have the real deal. We want to record both the clean feed and the full product. So we have a lot to cut out for us. And as a matter of fact, it's literally right there. It's below this table right here. This is where I'm storing the full setup. So it's quite close, but it's not switched on at the moment. So still need to work on a few things. Stanley says, Stanley says, sounds like the 4ME is not too far away from your collection. At the moment, I don't think so. But that's what I also said with the 2ME, so it doesn't say anything. But for now, I think that the collection is quite a lot, because I just flashed you the ATEM SDI Extreme. I also have the Mini Extreme. I've got 2 of the minis. Yeah, so switcher galore, and definitely more ATEM news to come. Thank you so much for your time. It was a little bit of a different show today. I hope that you still liked it. Next week, we're going to do a central control tutorial. Figuring it out amongst ourselves to make it awesome again. And we're going to do it all together. And we're trying to, make a cool setup, and hopefully it will also give you some indications on what you want to do yourself. Like I said earlier on the show, I don't have a lot of time today, unfortunately, but I really want to say one thing, and that is that I really appreciate each and everybody of you. So if you're part of the community, please go ahead and write down your comments, ask questions. If you know the answer, please go ahead and support the community by providing the answers. Also, if you have a super chat, that's also a great way to do that. And if you need help that is specifically tailored to you and only you, then we also still have this personal setup that you still can do via Calendly.com, Calendly.com/TechCondo, for the amount of €1 per minute, which is 30 minutes is 30 euros, 60 minutes is 60 euros. I am 100% looking into what I can do for you. So I'm not, and all the money of that also goes to the show. And he says, thank you so much. Awesome show. Thank you so much. Stanley says, thank you for the update, Petra. Your shows are informative, fun, and honest. See you next week. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Well, this is a good comment. It's such a shame that the new TVS AC8 is only 8 inputs. I totally 100% agree, because it is a fantastic ATEM. I love everything about it, but only if it had not 8, but minimum of 10 inputs.